What used to work on Google Ads just a few years ago doesn't cut it anymore. The days of an open wide blue ocean are gone. With rising competition and increasing advertising costs, it's tougher than ever to make your campaigns profitable. But don't worry, Google Ads is far from dead. In fact, it's booming. You just need to be smarter than your competition. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 strategies that you need to dominate Google Ads in 2025, using advertorials, scripts and AI, and mastering PMax index splits. So let's get into it. The Google Ads landscape is changing. What do I mean by that? Well, there is more competition than ever on Google Ads. And how does Google Ads work? Remember that it's an auction, okay? So that means more people bidding on the same keywords ultimately is going to mean that there's an increased cost per click for you as an advertiser. And the expense of these clicks is increasing year on year as more people start to leverage Google Ads for their business. Which means that those of you that are still targeting bottom of funnel search keywords and sending people directly to product pages are going to see your ads become more and more profitable as time goes on. Now, whilst those bottom of funnel keywords are becoming a red ocean, there is still a whole blue ocean of untapped search queries that you and your competitors are not tapping into. And those are informational queries where you'll find an abundance of opportunity. So what are advertorials? Usually, it's written-based content in the form of an editorial, made to look almost like a newspaper article or a blog. But what are they? Well, essentially, they're informational-based content that allow us to bridge users from curiosity to purchase. You can start to target people that are higher up the funnel, so away from those bottom of funnel, high competition search keywords, and instead start targeting people who are higher up the funnel and perhaps problem aware or searching for informational-based queries. Now, that's someone that has a problem and is problem aware, and they're looking for a solution, but they're not yet ready to buy. They're still in the research phase. So at this point, the last thing we really want to be doing as an advertiser is sending them straight to a product page trying to promote a product. Instead, we want to educate the user on what would be the best product for their problem, and instead position our product as the solution. As that user then starts to work their way down the funnel, they may search for something that's more informational based, such as what's the best product for hair loss. Now that that user has read the advertorial, they should be solution aware. Okay, they know there's a few different product types that they could potentially look into and purchase in order to prevent hair loss. So now they may return to Google and search for more information on those particular products. During this stage of the funnel, they're still researching, but they are aware of the product that they need to purchase. They just haven't decided exactly what type of product they want to purchase yet. Past that point, they become product aware, and this is where they'll begin searching for that specific product type on Google. Those are those high intent search keywords that everyone's typically bidding on. The reason why advertorials work so well is because they're less salesy, and no one likes to be sold to. So instead, you're educating the consumer and subtly promoting your product as the logical solution. In addition to that, you'll typically host an advertorial on a domain that is different from your store. So in the eyes of the consumer, it looks unbiased, and people are always much more likely to buy based on recommendation, especially an unbiased one. And that's the problem with product pages. Unless someone is at the bottom of the funnel, and what I mean by that is they're searching Google for a keyword that has high purchase intent, then they're not yet ready to purchase. And that's the problem with sending someone directly to a product page when they're not yet ready to purchase. Unless they're searching Google for a bottom of funnel, high purchase intent keyword that suggests they're ready to buy, I would advise against sending them directly to a product page. The reason being that a product page to someone who's not yet ready to purchase is going to come across as very salesy, and it's probably not going to provide them with the information and the education that they require at this stage. Instead, you can leverage an advertorial, target people higher up the funnel, and provide them with the solution to their problem. In addition to that, it gives you the opportunity to start subtly promoting your products before they're even product aware. So let's summarize the opportunity that is advertorials. So why should you use them? First of all, you can expect a lower cost per click. The reason being because you're targeting traffic that is higher up the funnel. Typically, informational-based keywords are going to be much less competitive than the high intent keywords that are more at the bottom of the funnel. But not only can you expect a lower cost per click, you can actually expect a higher conversion rate. Now, why is that? Well, as I mentioned, typically with an advertorial, you'd set it up and host it on a third-party domain that is separate from your store, which means that readers of the advertorial see it as unbiased content, even though that you're able to subtly promote your own products. It feels less like they're being sold to and more like they're being educated and guided to your product, which is the solution to their problem. And last but not least is the massive potential. When you're targeting bottom of funnel keywords, sooner or later, you're always going to hit a total addressable market. There are only so many people that are searching Google for specific high purchase intent keywords. Yet there are many more people that are looking for education or information higher up the funnel. And at this time, this is still a blue ocean. There is so much opportunity. So if you can start to leverage those people now and start positioning your product as the solution and you can get it right, advertorials can run for a very long time and profitably as well. So by now you should have a good understanding of what advertorials are and why that you should use them as an e-commerce business owner. And now I'm going to show you how. As with anything with regards to marketing, you should be prepared to test. Now, as with all of my ecom clients and students, I always recommend with everything that you start at the bottom of the funnel and work your way back up. Although there's higher competition, that's where the greatest purchase intent is. So if you're new to advertorials, I would start with something like a listicle, which is a product comparison. Even though there's a high level of competition at the bottom of the funnel, you can still leverage an advertorial to position your product as the best product in the market. Once you have proof of concept there and you're generating results, then I would recommend working your way back up the funnel and targeting people that are problem aware or searching for informational based queries. But before you just build an advertorial and launch it, you're going to want to conduct thorough research. And the way I would do that is by using tools such as Google Keyword Planner. You're going to want to leverage this to determine how much search demand there is, but also level of competition. There's no point building an advertorial and targeting a keyword that has 100 searches a month. It's simply not going to do anything. So as a rule of thumb, you want to target something that ideally has around 10,000 searches a month, but the more the better, because all that's really proving is that there's consistent search demand there that you can tap into. But past the point of doing keyword research, you're also going to want to analyze the market. You're going to want to have a look at what your competitors are doing, where their strengths are and where their weaknesses are, because these are all things that you're going to want to leverage in your advertorial. Once you understand what the strengths and weaknesses are of your competitors' products and how you can position your product as the solution, you're also going to want to conduct research into your ideal customer profile. So you're going to want to understand who you're selling to, what their wants, needs, and desires are, and most importantly, what their pain points are. Now, there are a few resources that I like to use for this style of research, such as Reddit, Quora, and Facebook groups. These places are like an absolute goldmine to find information about your ideal customers. People are very expressive of the things that they're looking for, the problems that they have, and more importantly, the language that they use. When you're writing an advertorial, you want it to really speak to your ideal customer profile. So I'm a big advocate of extensive research. The more research you put in initially, more likely the greater the advertorial is to work. So don't skip on this stage. Now, if you are making any claims, please just make sure to get them backed up by legitimate sources. I'd recommend against making any claims that aren't backed up, especially in certain niches. Okay, make sure everything that you're doing is legal and above board. The reason for this is if you do make any outlandish claims that could be considered false or misleading, then it's very possible that you could face legal action. So if you do decide to build an advertorial and position your product as the solution, just make sure that everything that you're saying is legit and you're not making any false claims. And as mentioned, if you can get it backed up by a credible source, even better. Now, I don't want to oversimplify this, but in all honesty, it is quite straightforward. As long as there is search demand that you can tap into with not too much competition, you've conducted your research and you truly understand your ICP, your ideal customer profile, their wants, needs, and desires, and you're able to build an advertorial that addresses all of those wants, needs, and desires, then there's no reason why it won't convert. Now, of course, you still need to take into consideration things like your cost per click, your conversion rate, and your average order value. If your average order value is low and your CPC is high, then yes, there is a chance that what you're building won't be unprofitable. But the point I'm trying to make is if there's demand there, that means that there's a need for your product. And as long as you're able to position your product as the solution and it actually solves the problem, then why would it not convert? And on top of that, why stop with one advertorial? As I mentioned earlier, with regards to marketing, testing is key. So if you build one advertorial that's converting successfully, what's stopping you from building another? In fact, you could build an army of advertorials. Once you've successfully built an advertorial that is set up, is live, and is converting, it can run for a very long time. Because you've conducted keyword research, you can see that there is monthly demand. Maybe it's even a trend that is growing year on year. If you're able to tap into that blue ocean, you're going to generate sales consistently for a very long time. Sooner or later, if you want to scale past your total addressable market, you're going to need to start creating more demand for your products. And one of the best ways to do that is with advertorials. And in my opinion, they should be the foundation of most e-commerce businesses. And I say most because it's obviously going to be niche dependent. On the right-hand side here, you can see results from one of my e-commerce students. Now, this is a brand new store that launched in October of 2024. And within 3 months, we were able to generate 342,000 euros using Google Ads alone and advertorials. So hopefully this shows you the power of what can be achieved in a very short time if you're able to tap into that blue ocean that I keep talking about. If you're an e-commerce business owner and you're looking to grow your business with Google Ads, then you could be a good fit for my mentorship program. See the link in the video description to learn more and submit an application. Another thing that most e-commerce business owners aren't doing is actually optimizing their PMax campaigns. Now, Google has done a fantastic job of building a campaign type that can run with little to no intervention for months. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be optimizing your campaign. In fact, you need to in order to maximize your results. So don't be lazy. But that doesn't mean that you need to do all of the heavy lifting yourself. What if I told you that you can leverage scripts and AI to do a lot of the optimization for you? In fact, I'm going to share with you the exact scripts, AI software and tools that I'm using right now to scale e-commerce businesses. Let's dive into it. So first of all, why do you actually need to optimize your PMax campaign? Now, as I explained a moment ago, Google has done a fantastic job at building a campaign type that can run for months on end with little to no intervention. But that doesn't mean that you shouldn't be regularly optimizing your PMax campaign. And if you're not regularly optimizing, then I can guarantee you that you're leaving money on the table. And I can tell you with absolute certainty that if you do optimize your PMax campaign, you will generate a greater return on investment. An optimized PMax campaign will generate you greater revenue and a greater return on ad spend. So trust me when I say it's worth doing. But like I say, that doesn't mean that you need to do all the heavy lifting yourself. Actually, you can leverage scripts and AI to do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. So first and foremost is the Mike Rhodes PMax script. If you're currently using PMax campaigns or you have done in the past, you'll know that they're very much a black box. Natively inside of the Google Ads dashboard, you can't see how your spend is being allocated on each network. But Mike Rhodes has solved the problem of PMax being a black box. Installing his script allows you to see performance for particular asset groups, but also performance of each network within your PMax campaign. So let me show you what that looks like. Here's a quick example inside one of my accounts. You can see we've got two different PMax campaigns segmented by location, both targeting a ROAS of 250%. Now here you can see the spend breakdown by network. Here you can see the percentage of spend breakdown by network. Here you can see the conversions by network, the conversion percentage by network, and then the value by network as a monetary figure and a percentage. And then lastly, the return on advertising spend. So you can see here in this particular campaign, shopping is close to the target ROAS at 2.3, video is way above at 9, and the display is also above target ROAS at 2.8. However, search is letting down the overall performance. In addition to that, you can see how each of the asset groups are performing with regards to conversions, conversion value, return on ad spend, so on and so forth. Again, you can leverage this information to determine which asset groups are performing and those that are not, and then use it to make optimizations. The Mike Rhodes PMax script is one that I always install on behalf of all of my e-commerce students and clients, purely for the additional insights that it provides. But we're not going to stop there. Let's take a look into AI and how we can leverage it for data analysis and optimization. Now, there are hundreds of different ways that you could leverage AI for Google Ads. Obviously, I'm not going to go through all of them in this video, but I will share a few example prompts with you that I use that may spark a few ideas and give you some initiative as to how you might be able to leverage AI more within Google Ads. So let's say you decided to export your search term data and you want Google to identify which search terms are generating the highest performance. You could export your data from Google and import it into ChatGPT and create a prompt and simply ask it to analyze the search term report and suggest which keywords are the highest performing. Past that point, if you wanted to be more specific, you could say, show me all of the search terms that are generating above a 2.5x ROAS and show me all of the ones that are achieving below a 1x ROAS. You could even ask it to present that information to you in a Google Sheet and ask it to create different tabs. One tab to show you search terms that are generating above a 2.5x and another tab to show search terms that are generating below a 1x. And of course, you can just keep going and going as per your requirements. But obviously, it doesn't have to stop there. There's nothing stopping you download performance data for an entire campaign and asking AI to make recommendations for optimizations at a campaign level, an ad group level, and so on and so forth. It really does go on, so you can get quite creative. Now, I'm not suggesting that you implement every recommendation that AI makes, but it may highlight things that you hadn't otherwise considered or had overlooked when looking manually. The key takeaway from this really should just be to leverage AI to your advantage and use it to speed up tasks that would otherwise be slower if you were to do them manually. AI can transform data into actionable insights, saving you time on manual analysis. Now, I personally use ChatGPT all the time, and one thing I really like using it for is optimizing my product titles. What I'll often do is export my search term data and ask ChatGPT to highlight all of the high converting, high demand search terms. I'll then ask ChatGPT to take those search terms and leverage them inside of my product titles where relevant. Obviously, I don't want it to add keywords in for the sake of adding keywords in, but if it's relevant to the product that's being sold, it's important that the product title includes keywords. Why? Well, because your product title is responsible for 80% of the search terms that your ads show for. So when optimizing a PMax campaign or even a standard shopping campaign, one of the most important things you can optimize is your product feed. And one of the biggest levers you can pull with regards to the search terms that you show for is making sure that your product titles are optimized. Furthermore, you can then split test the product title against the existing one and determine which one performs better. This can be done typically using a feed app, depending on which one that you're using. Now, if you're an e-commerce business owner and you're seeing value in the things that I'm sharing in this video, then you may want to consider joining my mentorship program to fast track your path to success. There's a link in the video description that you can click to learn more and submit an application. To summarize, some of the key benefits of using scripts and AI are to save time by automating repetitive tasks such as reporting and data analysis, to gain better insights by using scripts and AI to uncover hidden trends inside of performance, to generate a greater return on investment, allowing you to focus your budget on high-performing channels and assets, and lastly, simplified management. You can leverage AI and let it guide your decisions and remove some of the guesswork. So now we've covered how leveraging scripts and AI can save you time, provide valuable insights, and allow you to automate repetitive tasks. Now, whilst scripts and AI can do a lot of the heavy lifting, one thing they can't replace is having the right Google Ads strategy. And when it comes to scaling your PMax campaigns effectively, there's one strategy that stands out, and that is the index split strategy. Now, here's the thing. Google have designed PMax campaigns to run with little intervention, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they can't run better with the right intervention. That's where the PMax index split comes in. Now let's think about how a traditional PMax campaign works. Regardless of whether you're using a feed-only PMax campaign or a full stack, Google lumps all of your products together with one single ROAS target at a campaign level. Now, a single ROAS target is okay if all of your products have the same performance and the same margin. But more often than not, the 80-20 rule applies. You'll almost always find in every e-commerce business, regardless of the niche, that there are 20% of the products that generate 80% of the revenue, which means naturally you want to scale harder the products that are performing well. But yet bundling all of your products into one campaign with one TROAS target is going to limit your ability to do that. However, imagine you had multiple PMax campaigns, each campaign with a different target return on ad spend, and you segmented products into each of these campaigns depending on their performance. You put all of the top performers together, all of the mid performers together, and all of the low performers together. The benefit of this is that you can scale all of your top performers more aggressively. You can put them in their own campaign with their own ROAS target and their own daily budget. Naturally, because these products are your top performers, they're going to have a different conversion rate and a different cost per acquisition compared to your low performers. Now, if you think about a traditional PMax campaign where all of your products are in one campaign and there's only 20% of the products that are actually overperforming or achieving your desired ROAS, then the other 80% of products are ultimately dragging down the performance and preventing the scalability. So rather than allow those products to prevent you scaling, which is where most e-commerce businesses get stuck, you can segment the products based on performance with regards to the ROAS achieved. This means you can scale the top performers aggressively with their own dedicated budget and ROAS target, whilst giving a moderate budget to the mid performers, the products that perform well but maybe aren't quite good enough to go into the top performers campaign, and you can allocate a smaller budget to the products that are low performing. This will allow you to isolate and diagnose any potential issues with the low and poor performing products, such as pricing or level of competition, product title optimization, whatever it may be. It's going to allow you to spend more time optimizing these products. The goal here would be to turn the low performers into mid performers and then ultimately turn them into top performers. And segmentation will allow you to do that. Now, the best part about the index split, and you'll like this, is that you don't actually have to do anything. You set up the initial parameters in which the script should operate within. Past that point, it's going to analyze the performance of each product with regards to the return on ad spend and dynamically move the products between each of the PMax campaigns depending on the parameters that you've set. For example, if your target return on ad spend was 250 and any time a product is below your target, you'd put it in the low performers campaign. Once you've set the parameters for this script, the script is going to analyze the data for you and dynamically move products between the campaigns in real time. Hopefully now you're starting to understand how powerful this script is and how it can be a game changer. As I said to you at the start of this video, Google is far from dead. In fact, it's booming. You just need to know how to be smarter than your competition. So let's now summarize the 3 strategies that you can implement today to start beating your competition. First up is Advertorials. These allow you to build trust and target a blue ocean of untapped opportunity. Second is leveraging AI and scripts to simplify optimization, saving you time and increasing your return on ad spend. And lastly is one script in particular that we did a deep dive on, which is the PMax index split, which ensures efficient budget allocation and allows you to scale your top performing products. Now, trust me when I say that these strategies work. These are the exact strategies I'm using right now inside of my Google Ads agency to scale e-commerce business owners to multiple 7 figures. Over the last 2 years, I've generated over £20 million in revenue for my e-commerce clients. Now, everything I've recommended to you in this video, I'm either applying it to my own e-commerce business or the businesses of my clients or my mentorship students. These strategies are tried and tested, and I'm actively using them right now to scale e-commerce businesses. If you're an e-commerce business owner and you've found the things that I spoke about in this video valuable, then you may want to consider applying for my mentorship program. Click the link in the video description to learn more. Hopefully you found this video useful, and if you did, I'd really appreciate it if you left a like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.